Welcome to the Soulful Badass podcast. This is for all you souls who are ready to listen to your intuition and live life on your terms. I'm Rachel Jackson. I'm a mindset coach and intuitive mentor, and I'm here to guide you to live the most fulfilled, authentic, and abundant life that you were born for. Now let's dive in each week and have some amazing conversations, and let's light that soul on fire. Hi everyone. Today's podcast episode is a little bit different because it's a masterclass that I did in the Facebook Live, but I also have an extra special guest. So to start off this live masterclass, I invited one of my amazing clients, Wendy Harrop, onto the call to share with you her journey around adding more fun in order to create abundance. And believe me, it really does work. So we talk about how to add energetics into your business and your life to create more goodness. So we dive into that and what her experience is of that. And then I teach you at the end how to bring that into your own life. So that's the part of today's podcast that I want to share with you. So it is a little bit different, but it is super cool. So I hope you enjoy it. And this is all part of showing you how energetics can really change your world. So I hope you enjoy it. Let me know. Come and join the Soulful Badass Community and share your thoughts on this amazing episode. Hi, everyone. Tonight, we're going to be doing the masterclass on using joy to attract abundance. Now, I want to introduce everyone to Wendy. So Wendy Harrop here is one of the clients who's worked with me for some time now, and we'll dive into a lot of stuff, Wendy, but do you want to introduce yourself and what you do?
Sure. I'm Wendy Harrop, and I own a historic bed and breakfast on a small flower farm in New England. And I also lead culinary-centric trips to France for solo female travelers. And as dreamy as all that sounds, I am also the podcast host of the Say Yes to Yourself podcast, which is clearly what I'm doing.
Yeah, Wendy is an advocate for living, following your dreams and just saying yes to what delights you. So it doesn't really surprise me that you're deciding to manifest and bring more joy into your life. But what we're going to dive into today is I'm going to speak to Wendy about her experience of it, and then we're going to go a bit more into the teachings of how it all works, because one of the things that I do is really master the energetics of business, life, and that's what I use right throughout my coaching. And Wendy, what was that like for you when you first started diving into that? Because it's a different experience, isn't it?
It really is. But although a different modality, it's so center to who all of us are as people, but to who I am as a person. So trying to grow my business and scale it and make enough money that I don't have to also get a job. And, all of those things were, and of course, wanting to be of service and knowing that I'm up to great things. Like there was a lot to balance.
Yeah.
In coming at it in more of maybe a scattered space of which, can also, it comes from lack. As well, being in a lack mindset of, oh my gosh, I have to do this and it has to make money, or I'm going to have to get a job and I'm going to lose everything. It was just I wouldn't say that I'm a person that catastrophizes, but I was really fearful that I was going to lose what I want and that I was going to somehow not do it right or not find the right people because I'm not tech savvy or have, tons of followers. There was just going to be something that not so far as something that everybody else has that I don't, but there was something I really felt that I was lacking something, and I needed to work harder to achieve it, find the person who had it that would then give it to me or tell me what it, whatever. There was mystery associated with it. And when I realized that the person I was waiting for to give me this permission to do the things I want to do was me, that was a huge shift. But there was still this having my habits, my practices catch up with my mindset in that sense. And then when I started working with you, and you really helped me solidify that I am that person that has the answers, that has the information, that has the gift, that has the talent, that has the desire. And I don't have to be looking outside of me for what I should do and who I should be with. And you were so skilled at calling me on my own nonsense and just telling me also, close your eyes and ask your future self, ask that queen, the highest version of you, how did we do this? How did we navigate a divorce settlement? How did we navigate pushback from neighbors during my permitting process? How did we navigate? And so I got into the habit of asking my future self how we figured all this stuff out. And it's just been a really beautiful practice, and it strengthens me, and it strengthens my resolve. It strengthens my desires. It focuses my desires, because I'm asking myself if that's what I really want. Because some things sound like a great idea when I first have them, and then I do them and I'm like, okay, I don't want to do that again, or yes, let's do more of that. So it's just been really, it was just the right thing at the right time, and I was ready. And they say, right, when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
And you joined originally when I was launching the Soulful
Soul Aligned Boot Camp.
Soul Aligned
Business Boot Camp.
That's a mouthful. But I mean, I ran the business boot camp, and it was 6 weeks, and it takes the concept that you've just talked about there of, and this is what I'm going to go through and really break down for people to show you how to do this yourself. But in the Soul Aligned Business Bootcamp, what we talked about was stepping into that version of you that has that business, that has that life, and really kind of getting to know that person and grounded in that energy. And that's been the journey that you've been on since then. And when I break this down, what we do tend to love to do is, when we plan what we want, these big dreams, and when we think of that person we want to be, we miss one of the biggest concepts in it. So when we're thinking of who we want to be, we love to be linear. We love to give a timeline to things. So our mind automatically gives us a timeline of what we believe is possible for us. And when you look at ask, believe, receive, people are asking for what they want. They're really good at visualizing it, getting really clear, whether it's just the feeling, whether it's the things they want. And, that feels all dreamy and nice. But when it comes to believe, what we tend to do is start with where we are now and then think of where we want to be. And we work from our belief system of changing where we are currently to try and get to where we want to be. So you might be thinking, right, well, I want this big dreamy life and I feel like I want to be a millionaire. So you work with how you feel about money now and you start to change that and think about how you could be a millionaire and change those beliefs so that you're okay to receive it. And I flip that teaching on its head a little bit. And we're going to talk about what that feels like for you in a minute, Wendy. But one thing I do that's coming up in the Soulpreneur Academy, and this is what I do with everybody in Miraculous Success Academy, like Wendy, we don't look at the beliefs that you currently have. They change naturally. They will change naturally from what we're doing, the work that we're doing. But actually, it's about stepping into the version of you that already has them and integrating the beliefs that that person has now into who you are. So when we're talking about bringing more money in with joy, what you're actually thinking is when you leap into that version that you're talking about there, Wendy, and, that just explain to me kind of the feeling you're going to feel when that all happens for you and you're living that life in the chateau that we know that you want, and just explain some of the feelings that you're going to be feeling at that point.
Grace, ease, freedom, delight, joy, generosity, just, just floating through my day, knowing that I'm where I'm supposed to be and doing what I'm supposed to do. And I am being the woman that I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. So that person that you're being at that point, there's a lot of different emotions linked to it, and there's a lot of different energy. And that person is the magnet for that life. So what we tend to forget is that through manifesting, we are magnetizing who we're being. And when we're being that person, it's through our thoughts, through our emotions, through our beliefs. But what we tend to do is we tend to work upwards. So we tend to start where we are and think, well, I'll work my way through it and I'll get to that place. And this is the work that I ask people to do. I jump you to that place and then get you to start being that person now. So Wendy, we've been working with yourself around adding joy into your life, because joy was one of them big feelings that you're going to feel when you get there. And we said the big task for Wendy that I give her was, don't think about making money, think about having joy. Because if you think, and anybody watching, and I apologize, the comments aren't coming through. So if people are commenting, just, we'll go back and look at them, or they might catch up eventually. But if you think about when you have the money, when you're at that place, you are not going to be thinking about, where is the money coming from? Am I going to make money at this? Is this going to work? You're just going to be so used to the money flying into you that actually you won't be focused on the money. You'd be focused on having fun with the money.
Right.
So that's where my challenge to Wendy was to replace the thought of making money from things, still do the business tasks and everything that she does, but focus on bringing more joy. What is that being like for you?
Well, and I will say that you weren't using the word joy, because I feel like my joy is, like, for me, the joy is in the doing, but you told me I need to have more fun.
Yeah.
And that's where I was like, oh, no fun till the chores are done. And like, I have a very good girl, do the work first, and then, whatever is left. And then, but I live on a small farm, so there's not usually anything left. So I just make it all happy. But for me, there is a difference between joy and fun, because and so your directive was, it was really impactful for me, because it was different. It was, I would have associated fun with being frivolous.
Yeah.
And, but it wasn't, it was actually being present. Mm-hmm. And that was a huge shift, because it doesn't just change my experience at this particular event that I was hosting, which was when you told me not to worry about that and to have fun. It allowed me to be more present with the people that were there. It allowed me to, I was allowed to unhook from the A plus B equals C. I just got to be like, this is happening. Let me be here. And it changed the experience for me. So I'm certain that it enhanced the experience for my clients as well.
Yeah. And you had that event, didn't you? And when we first started talking, you were looking at kind of the budget of
the profit margin,
spend, money you had to go out, what the profit margin, and really kind of getting sucked into that detail. And it was because you were thinking, right, well, this is an event that I like to run, but if it's only going to give me this, what's the point of doing them again?
Right, because I am, again, not wanting to do it wrong. And I am in a position where I have to, this needs to be profitable, or like my fabulous good ideas in hobby form, my mortgage company is not interested in that.
Yeah.
And since I'm on my own now, I have to provide for my needs. And that narrative is actually not accurate for me.
No.
Like, I do not have to provide. I am not my source. God is my source. So training my mind to think, to go to the joy, to go to the fun, that is the magnet for more joy, more fun, more abundance, and not another set of rules just put in place by a different person.
Yeah. And I mean, the amount of abundance that has come into you lately since you've been adding fun into your life, just kind of share what you're comfortable with. But obviously,
in the last 7 days, in the last 7 days, I have received so many bookings for things that aren't even available anymore, but I was just too busy to take it off the website. People bought it. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just go do another one of those. Okay. So and I don't want to say I didn't do anything, like it just happened, because I didn't. I have the social media posts. I did the work, but it's kind of like that saying where they say it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. It's like it's landing in this week, especially because I opened up to something that felt really expansive and really fabulous. And as soon as I did, it was like boom, 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 boom. Like I don't know, they're strangers. They're not my, my friends sign up for my stuff. They want to support me and they're really fun things. But these are all strangers who found me through someone else. And it was just so beautiful to be reminded, I don't have to figure it all out. I just need to be open and receive it and be available to receive it and stop blocking. Like all of these things that I've heard over all of these years, it just, I have an understanding in a new level.
Yeah.
That it's just like the electricity is in the wall, but if the lamp is not plugged in, no lights are going to come on. But all you have to do is plug the lamp in. The electricity is already there. So I feel like I've just plugged into what was already here around me and I'm lit up.
Yeah. And I love that you said that. So much come up for me as you were talking then. I love the electric thing, and I'm going to go back to that. But what I was thinking was, you said you've done the work, and it's not like you hadn't done the work. So what I would say is, I am not an advocate for manifest everything, visualize it, and everything will come to you, as in you're going to have the most successful business like that. That is not what Soulpreneur Academy is about. And Wendy knows I am a Hitler for action. Like, I make you act out your comfort zone, and Stacey will advocate for that, because she's going to be coming live on Tuesday, and she's new to this, so she's getting ready. She's preparing, aren't you, Stacey? But what I would say is, doing the work and doing the strategy and having the website and having everything in place and getting everything ready hasn't actually been working as much as it works when you match it with the energy.
That's right.
So 20% of strategy it takes to make your business work. And everybody actually focuses on 100% strategy. And yeah, you might do the mindset stuff, but do you do the energy work? There's a very different shift in it. And that's where you really start to embrace and open up, like you say, open up to receiving. You've just plugged in that plug, and now there's this whole electric feeling that's coming into you and actually being rained into you at the minute with abundance. And there was people, from the event that you ran the other day, there was somebody took like the bouquets and things that were totally random out the blue. Like, Wendy is manifesting the most random amounts of money from the best places, but doing it through connection as well, which is one of your main passions.
Yes, it's a superpower.
Yeah.
And I will say, all the money is coming in for things that don't require new work.
Yes.
Okay.
So again, allowing more fun into your business is allowing you to start to see that the business doesn't have to be work.
Right.
It doesn't have to be a to-do list of, oh my God, I've got to do this right, and I've got to do that right. And Wendy is a stickler for loving to have all her systems in place and everything perfect. But actually, now you're allowing more fun in. It's opened you up to see how easy it can be, isn't it? Well, you tell me. I don't want to put words in.
Yes, no, it's true. It's true. And I'm also getting support. So the things that were taking a lot of my time, mowing the lawns, for example, takes me 8 hours to mow the lawns. And I hired a service to do that. And the money came for that. And another thing came, and another thing came. And then I feel I get to be in 2 places at one time, because I'm on a call with a client and I'm looking outside and the people are mowing my lawns. It's so great.
Yeah. And that was a huge blocker for yourself, wasn't it? So Wendy has the most amazing farm, and it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of upkeep. And, recently being separated, you're now doing it all on your own. And it was a big block when we first started working together, that you felt you couldn't pour the energy into the areas that you wanted to do because of the things that, you needed help with, but didn't necessarily have the support in the finances to do that. So it's been a balance and a juggle in order to allow you to get your energy to see that you can have both and you can be supported. So that level of support and allowing that support in has been another energetic shift that we've had to, work through for you, isn't it?
Yes. Yes. And it's so good. It's so good. It's, for me, it was hard to turn over tasks that I know how to do. And I enjoy, to be available to do the things that actually only I can do in my business. And I wouldn't say that I was using it as an excuse to not grow my business. I mean, it felt like,
no, it was
I
just an energy block.
have to do this, but it was an energy leak.
It was an energy block.
Like I wasn't in avoidance about scaling my business. No, I want to do it. There's just, it was an energy leak. And even though I have now hired that person and they're taking so much off of my plate, there's still so much more that I need to allow support in for, because I'm doing fewer things. I'm doing less better, and I need support.
Yeah.
And that's a big leap for me.
Yeah. And I just wanted to touch on that because there's so many women, especially, sorry men if you're watching, but I've just seen Oswald pop up.
Hello, Oswald.
There is just, it's ingrained into women to do it all yourself. You know, it really is. And even though our divine feminine is about receiving, we actually shy away from that a lot. So when you move into the energetic work, it's really about opening that up. And I find that's the biggest thing that my clients do struggle with, allowing in support, allowing in receiving. And what that does, it's not something that, like you say, you never shied away. You were never going to stop your business or stop that momentum. You know, Wendy's dream, and this is what I say when I really do work with change makers, the dream's never going to go away. Like that's never going to stop. But there's things that are going to speed you up getting there, or things that are going to slow you down. And when we have these energy leaks and energy blocks, it's just slowing you down for, you know, it doesn't need to be slowing you down. So my role is showing them to you and helping you remove them in a sense. And I think that's what I'm probably a master at, that I can see the energy leaks. Even when people speak, I'm like, oh, I heard that, you know, and Wendy will be used to that, me calling her out on different things, but
which is what I want.
Yeah.
I am not working with the coach because I want her to validate my nonsense.
Yeah.
I can do that for free.
Yeah.
So I want someone who will call me out. You're not a bully. You see things. I mean, and that's why we get support, because we have blind spots. So often I thought that when I said my dreams and someone said, oh my gosh, that's amazing, you should totally do that, and you could do this, that, and the other thing. And then I would think to myself, oh, yeah, that would be nice. But if they knew what my, educational background is, or what my bank account is, and then they would see how I'm really not going to be able to do this. Yeah. And actually, other people see more clearly. We think that they don't see it, like, oh, if you knew the real me, you wouldn't love me, or whatever, we make up about that. But it's actually other people see us more clearly than we see ourselves. And that is the gift of community. That is the gift of working with a coach that you align with. That is the gift of doing this work with other people, creating this safe container where we can call each other out. And again, we're not being mean or bullies. We're saying, I love you so much, and you are trying to read the label from inside the bottle, and you can't do that well. And so that's why I am so grateful. And I don't ever want you to hold something back.
Yeah.
I say it plainly. If it's in alignment, then I'm going to receive it. And if I have, if it just doesn't feel like that didn't land.
Yeah.
Every time, it hasn't happened with you, but with another coach I have, there's been 2 times now where she has made a suggestion, thinking she knows, and she's making a suggestion, and it's been so no. Yeah. But not in a way that I'm in avoidance and I don't want to deal with it, those no's have every time, twice, both times, like catapulted me to what my yes is. So her assessment of a situation allowed me to say, no, it's not that, but this is what I want instead. And so it's brought clarity, just in a different format, but it's only brought clarity again because I'm available to receive it and I want to grow. Like, if I don't also want to be in a program where you're going to agree with everything or you're going to only tell me things I want to hear, like, I just don't have time. I already know that I don't have everything that I need in my awareness. And so I invest in myself in programs like yours to be known and to be available for what my next up level is. And then I decide what to do with it.
Yeah. I'm conscious of time, Wendy. What time?
I have to go. Yeah.
You need to go. Well, thank you so much.
I'll listen to the replay for whatever else you say after.
Yeah, I'm going to dive into the teachings just to break down exactly what we've just been discussing. But thank you for sharing your take on it, and love you as always. I'll speak to you soon.
I love you back.
Bye. Bye. So everybody, I hope you enjoyed that conversation, and I really wanted to get Wendy on because she has been through the biggest journey. So like I said, she started with me when I did the Soul Aligned Business Bootcamp, which has now just been revamped to the Soulpreneur Academy. So that is open. It is open. The details are out there, and pop in the comments if you want to know anything about it. I will touch on it, but we're going to be diving into the teachings of what we've just been talking about there. Now, we touched on it a little bit, but when you start to manifest, and I know I always say this, so if anybody's new to me, I really do manifest people who are here for big missions. So I want you to know that if you have come across me, it is not for any reason, and those big crazy dreams that you have really are meant for you. And I always say, you will never have a desire that is not meant for you. If it's a true soul desire, you are meant to achieve it. So I really want you to just sit with that you're not crazy, you're not delusional. Those big dreams of being rich, free, happy, whatever that is for you, that is for you. So please just know that that's for you. And what we tend to do when we're manifesting, we, ask, believe, receive. You might understand that terminology. And I'm going to break down how I go about it, and also how we sometimes get it so wrong and slow down the process. It's not that we're not working towards our dreams. It's just we want them quicker. We'd love to have them now, and we'd love to make it as fast as possible. So that's what I do. I take people and I shift through the energy so that you can actually quantum leap, which means jump timelines. So the timeline you're currently working in is one vibrational frequency, but where you want to be might be 2 or 3 vibrational frequencies higher. So I work on jumping you to that level. And that's what I've been doing for a number of years now with different clients, and also in my own business. So it has really worked for me. Since I brought energetics into my business, everything has taken off. I used to really try and think, how do I do this strategically? I've never run a business before. So, I needed to know all the breakdown of how to do everything, algorithms, all that stuff. And I had everything in place, and yet things weren't clicking. And it was only once I realized I am really spiritual. I use intuition and energy in everything in my life. Why wasn't I bringing it into my business? Why wasn't I manifesting in my business like I do in everything else? And it was a real aha for me, like, what is that? Why am I not doing that? So as soon as I did, everything shifted. And now it's really the bones of what I teach. So what I want you to just have a think of, if you're watching, just take a nice deep breath in And I just want you to start to think of the life that you will be living when all those big desires and dreams come true. Now, you might not know clearly what you're doing in that space. You might not have that end result of, the job you're doing, the business you've got, but you'll have an idea. You'll have an idea of the money you want to bring in. You maybe won't have a figure, but it could be like millions, it could be billions, it could be thousands. Try and really just let yourself go to that place, go to that energy of you when you already have those big dreams. And if you can start to be in that energy and think of, who are you in that space? What does it feel like? Just like I did for Wendy, and she thought of joy, happiness, contentment, peace. But just take a deep breath and just close your eyes and just imagine you're in the timeline now where you have everything you desire. You are completely content. Everything around you is working out. Everything around you feels easier. And I just want you to sit with that feeling and just tell me what comes up for you. How does it feel? What are you currently thinking? Just pop in the comments if there's anything coming up for you that is, once you're there, once you're in that feeling of I have everything, what does that feel like to you? So when we ask, normally we get a nice visual, or we do a vision board, or we journal it out, and we ask in lots of different ways. We use lots of different manifestation techniques. And this is one of the biggest things that manifesting coaches use to help you manifest. They talk about the vision, they talk about really asking for what you want. So you might have heard of different methods like the 369 journaling and all sorts of things. But what they're concentrating on is the ask, trying to get really clear on what you're asking the universe for. So they're all decent methods and will help you get clear on what that is. But what I do around the energetics is tell me how it feels like to be living that life. Tell me what you're really feeling like when you're there. Tell me what that person is like. So I know that when I'm at that place, I feel confident. I feel free. The thought of having lots of money to me doesn't feel like, oh, this is so exciting. It just feels so content and peaceful. It's as if I'm floating on a cloud and just completely supported. For me, freedom is a big, big driver. And that's how I feel. I just feel completely free, completely at peace. And I see myself looking over a private bay where that's my own private beach in a lovely house. And I'm just breathing in that sea air. And it's just bliss, pure bliss. That's what it feels like for me to know that I'm there. And I see that so clearly. Stacey's saying ecstatic, fulfilled, free, secure, light, successful, proud. Love that. Yeah. So once you imagine that person, you've then got to start to believe. So it's ask, believe, receive. But what we tend to do, because we have these beautiful minds that help us work everything out and help us plan things and help us structure. And that part of us is absolutely genius. It helps us get through the day. It helps us have successful jobs or have successful family lives, whatever it is. That planning and structure is brilliant in so many ways. But when it comes to manifesting and dreaming, it can hold you back. Because what tends to happen is we think, right, if I want this millionaire lifestyle, if I want to be a 7-figure CEO, then I need to believe that that's possible for me. And what you tend to do, you might look at your business at the moment and you might look at you maybe making a certain figure and you think, right, well, when you are here, but you want to be here, your logical brain goes, how do I start to believe that's possible? And the way your logical mind wants to believe it is build the how, know all the steps, know how to get from A to B, because that's what we do. That's, our logical mind does that all the time for us. So we try and build a journey from where we are now to where we want to be. But the problem is where we want to be is somewhere we've never been before. We have never actually logically placed the steps in order to get there. We might never have known, because like I said, I'm here for the big change makers. You might be the only person in your family to start having these big dreams. So you might not have seen anyone around you do it. You might not have learned from anybody else who has ever had that big dream. So what your logical mind tends to go, well, can you really get there? Can I build the steps? Can I do it? So this is where your belief then starts to crumble a little bit, because you push in and you're doing the affirmations and we're saying, I am a millionaire, I am strong, I am wealthy, and all this stuff. But then your logical mind keeps bringing you back to the now, bringing you back to, well, are you wealthy? Come on, I'm looking about. You're getting no clients. You're doing this, you're doing that. And so much like Wendy was doing when she went into the strategy, she went into how much profit have I made? Am I, how much have I got to pay out? All the budget of the thing, instead of going into it with that joy that really she needed to do. So we tend to build this path, and that's where we get stuck. And what tends to happen then is we do go into ourselves and our energy starts to dip, because your energy has been in this space of, you want all this amazing, expansive things, and it feels good and it feels bliss. And then suddenly when you start to look at how do I make it happen, you start to shrink back and go, maybe it can't happen for me. And this starts to knock your belief. So even though you're trying to believe it can happen for you, sometimes our energy can be telling us something different. So this is the work that I really do with people. And it's not just going into that vision of who you are. It's not just going into that energy of who you are, but it's really sitting in that space and regularly going to that space and seeing, what do they believe? Now, we've touched on what you feel when you're at that point, when you're living that life. What do they believe about themselves? What are their thoughts on a normal basis? And this is where I was talking about with Wendy. It wasn't about when she gets there, she's going to be thinking, how's the money coming in? Where's it coming from? Is this going to work? What's my next business step? All this stuff. When she gets there, she's going to be having fun with the money and knowing that it's going to come in. So her thoughts are actually around, how do I have more fun with this, rather than where's the money going to come from? And at that point, there's two different timelines going on. Where's the money going to come from is down here, whereas how do I have fun with the money is up here. So that's where we need to be. We need to constantly be up here. So this is where you need to be a little bit delusional. And this is the bit people struggle with, because you've got to start acting and being the person that you want to be once you have all the things. Now, it's not saying if you want to be a millionaire, then go and spend £1 million somewhere. But what it's saying is, don't worry so much or think about, well, I can't spend this because I'm saving it for a rainy day and all this energy. If you are at that point when you feel like money is a renewable source, money flows to you easily, money comes from everywhere, then that's a very different thought pattern than thinking, oh, I need to stash this money away because what if I ever lose my job, or what if my business fails, or all this stuff. Your energy and your thought pattern is completely different. So you need to start to understand, what are you thinking when you're at that place, when you've done everything, when it's all that dream has come true? What is your thought pattern like? What's your energy like? How do you get up in the morning? How do you go through your day? What do you dress like? What air of confidence are you having? Who are you being at that place? Because once you start to understand that, then you slowly graduate that into your day now. So if you see that you're going to be proud and confident, you need to start being proud and confident now. And the only one who gets to choose that is you. You could be proud of the fact that you got up this morning, got dressed, put your makeup on and did something productive, or you can look at it and go, I got up, got dressed, did something productive, but I didn't make the money that I wanted to make. So it's up to you how you look at life. It comes down to the lens that you're viewing it from. And actually, you can change that lens at any point. You can change the way that you're looking at yourself. You can change the way that you're feeling about yourself. And what that does is then it changes your inner magnet. It's like you've just plugged in that lamp that Wendy says, because you've just plugged yourself in. You've just become that magnet. So pop in the comments if this is resonating or if this is making you shift the way that you're actually thinking about manifesting and thinking about the energy of things. I'll just have a drink. But pop in the comments if this is resonating for people. Because we really do attract who we are being. So if you are feeling in any sort of low vibrational mode, if you are giving yourself a hard time, if you're your own inner critic, if you are literally bullying yourself in your own mind, that's then decreasing your energy. It's decreasing your magnet that you are putting out in the world, because we magnetize things from our energy. It's like a force field around us. Our thoughts create that energy. Our feelings create that energy. And it really does work as a vibrational force that brings everything to us. But there's always a little bit of a delay and a little bit of a lag. So often we sometimes look at our outside world and think, well, it's not working, or I don't have the money yet. But actually, there's a delay. There's always a delay. Thankfully, because you would have the most random thoughts, and then, you know, like a giant pink elephant or something would land in your sitting room because you suddenly thought about a pink elephant. We don't want that. We don't want instant thoughts turning into things, because life would be crazy. But what we do is we need to, you know, build the thoughts. It's that, I can't think of the words. What is it? Compound effect. So the more and more you think of the same thoughts, that's when it comes in. So the more and more you're thinking, where's the money going to come from? When's the business going to take off? When am I going to get the clients? The more and more you compound them thoughts, that's what you begin to see outside of you. But what you see outside of you now can change. You have the power to change that. So what we get sucked into is looking at our outside world and thinking, well, how do I change that? You don't need to think how, you need to go in and change the magnet inside, change the energy, change the frequency you're working at. You are like your own radio. You think of every frequency of the channel, every station is playing at the minute. You just need to turn in the right dial so that you hear what you want to hear. It doesn't mean that the radio station pauses or goes off air while you're not listening. It just means that you're not on that frequency to hear that channel. So as soon as you go in and change your dial, you suddenly start to hear a different frequency, a different song. So that's where you have the power to change it. But instead of, you don't see the radio frequencies, you don't see what's happening in the, you know, with all the airwaves. All you need to do is turn the dial and hear a different show. So why do you think it's any different for you and what your outside world looks like? You don't need to see how the magic works. You don't need to see how the radio frequency works. You just need to turn the dial, but you are the dial. It's inside you that things have to change, and then the outside world changes. So Stacey's saying, absolutely, instead of saying when I'm saying I am. Yeah, lack versus abundance. Brilliant, Stacey, yeah. So what I want you to do off the back of this is get really clear on, first visualize, who is it you want to be? Who is that person? And let yourself feel it, let yourself dream. And this is where we start to have fun. Get really clear on, who are you being when you're at that point? And even before visualizing, just accept that if you have a desire, and let me just clarify this because I haven't said this for a little while. Your desires are unique to you. No one else in this world has desires in the same way you do. Yes, we might want £1 million, but there's different reasons why you want that £1 million. It'll be very different to me. So there's different drivers. So your desires are like your own unique thumbprint. They are so unique to you and your soul that when you tap into your soul desires, you can feel it like a tuning fork. Sometimes we have desires and it might be something like, oh, I love that car, and next door's got that car, and now look, it's showing up my car. That's an ego desire. Your soul desire is something that lights you up inside, that feeling of, oh, this is exciting. And yeah, your ego might pop in and go, but it's not for you. But you got there, this is exciting. And it's like your body went into a tuning fork. It's like suddenly it goes zing. And that is when you know that is a soul desire. That is something that is being imprinted in your soul even before you come to this world. Because there is something in this divine matrix that you are meant to achieve by getting that desire. So we think sometimes our desires aren't for us. And actually, when they're soul desires, they are for you and you are meant to have them. And not only that, they are actually seeking you more than you want them. Because there is some magic behind you having that desire in the first place. So let's just park the idea that our desires aren't for us, or they're too far-fetched, or whatever that you want to say it, because it's not true. You were born to have them. So stop wasting time in going after them. That's all I would say. All you're doing is denying it for longer, but you will get there. True desires are never going to go, you will get on that course. You will get on that path, because your desires are actually your soul's GPS system. So whatever it is about you wanting to have £1 million, there is something your soul wants you to do and learn and generate along that journey. So it is your soul's GPS. It's how it directs you through this life, how it gets you to where you're meant to be. Your desires are that, they're your compass, they're your GPS. So you can't deny them. And we all know when we've denied our desires, or we've had that niggle and we've ignored it and we've let it go and we've, put it to one side, that's when we've ended up in burnout, or the universe just crumbling everything, a huge tower moment where the wool gets like literally ripped from under us. And suddenly we're like, oh my God, I'm on a completely different path, but wasn't that carnage getting there? Well, we don't need to have the carnage. We just need to follow our desires. So start doing that first. Really get clear on it. You're allowed your desires, and get clear on what they are. Who is it you want to be? Who is it you want to feel like? Do you just want to have loads of security that you don't have to think about money and you feel so safe? Is it just that you want to have the happiest life where you can go and travel and you can do what you want and you can write books and you can, paint and do all this amazing stuff? Then that's your desire. So who is it you are being at that point? What do you feel like? What do you think? And how do you act? There are three things. What do you feel like? How do you think? And how do you act that you need to get clear on now? So that's when you are really visualizing it. And then this is where the fun happens. You start to act, feel, and think all of them feelings in your day-to-day now. So like Wendy said, the event she was having wasn't the most profitable. It wasn't the step to getting her to be a millionaire. It wasn't a way to make her think, well, this is going to be, a sustainable thing for me to do if I only ever do that. But what she did was she went into that and had fun. She went into that and showed up as if it was an event where she was stood on stage in front of millions of people. She went into that with the energy of, let's see how amazing this can be. And what come off the back of that was another connection, someone giving her money for something. And all these things happened that were a different outcome to what she would have if she just went into it going, well, this isn't going to work, or this isn't going to be the way I want to run things in the future. So once you show up as the person that's already creating the money and already living the life and having the desires, you open the door to the next opportunity and the next opportunity and the next opportunity. And it happens quick because you're already acting as that person. So start to think, what's one thing that you could change? One thing that you could bring into your day to start to change the way that you think, feel, or act. There's plenty of things you could be doing, and there's plenty of things that can work out for you. But really think, how do you want to think, feel, or act? Now, gratitude's one that I bring in all the time that literally changes that dial super, super quick. But there's plenty more you could do. So just start to bring in and pop in the comments or pop in the replay. What's the things that you're going to change? What are you going to start to change in the way that you show up? Stacey's going to come on live with me, like we've talked about, because that's, she sees herself as proud, confident. So she's pushing herself out that comfort zone. So once you start to bring that in, we squash the timeline between where we want to be and where we're going. And actually, because you're already acting at this place, the universe changes everything around you to match your frequency. So what you begin to see outside is what you're attracting from the inside out. So this is how bringing more joy, bringing more fun, bringing more energy of freedom really does attract more abundance. So I hope that's helped you, and I hope it's been a good conversation to hear Wendy's experience of it as well. Now, this is a glimpse of the things that I teach in the Soulpreneur Academy. And if anybody's interested in coming and joining that, the doors are open now. And what it is, it's an 8-week container where you get exposure to me as your coach. And I teach you a weekly teaching every week. So you learn lots of these energetics and really go deep into how it's been affecting you and your business. Because the aim is that, your business is energy related. To make any business successful, you need 80% energy, 20% strategy. But the problem is we've all been focusing on the strategy and not really the energy of what we're pouring into our business. So once you change the energy of what you're showing up as, and you actually step into the soulpreneur, you attract the business that you want to manifest. So that's what we're going to be doing through this 8 weeks. And I'm going to be teaching you exactly how. I'm going to be taking you energetically into the activations, which again, will just anchor into your soul exactly what you want to create. And as well, we're going to be shifting all the baggage that's getting in the way. Plus, you get to work with the amazing women who are in Miraculous Success Academy and anybody else who wants to join as well. And we're going to have a Telegram group where you can get daily coaching from me. You can ask questions. You can share anything that's coming up for you. You are not alone through this 8-week journey. It's not just come and learn something once a week and then you're off. I'm there with you every step of the way, because this energy shift is the biggest thing that will transform your life. Soon as you master this and turn this energy round, you literally will be able to live the timeline of your dreams. And that's what I want you to do. I don't want anybody holding yourself back, because you have all the power inside of you. So if you have any more questions, let me know. But I will be coming on live on Tuesday with Stacey. I'll be sharing more about the Soulpreneur Academy, and we're kicking it off on the 4th of October. So I've said the doors close next Wednesday, but I might extend it for a little bit because we're not going to be starting our first call to the 4th of October. So if you are ready and you want to take your business and you're sick of struggling, sick of feeling like, when is it going to happen? Because you've got those big dreams, then make sure you join. It's going to be absolutely incredible. And thank you so much for everybody who's joined tonight. I've loved talking to Wendy and sharing her story and then going into the mechanics of you. And if you have any questions on the mechanics, please let me know, because it's different. Our logical mind likes to tell us, you can't earn money that way. Having more fun, come on, no, but you really, really can. So I hope you try it. I hope you enjoy it. And please let me know if you have any success, because you're here to manifest absolute miracles. Believe me. Oh, thanks, Stacey. And I'll go back through the comments. And if anybody does have any questions or you're watching the replay, please just let me know. Okay, I'll speak to you all soon, and I'll pop in when the next live's going to be so that you know, and we'll get Stacey on to come and share her experience and how it's been for her. All right, bye.